Today was a good day. I feel like Ice Cube. No, my name ain't O'Shea still. I'm a nigga with an attitude, but this money got me in a better mood. Smoking strong, yeah, that medical. It's Friday, I'ma get you high today. You ain't got no job anyway. That's the word I heard in the barbershop. Got fired trying to steal a box. Boys in the hood being bullied, better hit the boat with a center block. Ride along with me, it's 10 o'clock. Don't be asking me, yo, are we there yet? Walking lottery ticket. We about to hit the Players Club for some triple X. I been all about the Benjamins, been 15th Street from the jump. Dangerous grounds, if you think shit all Gucci, nigga, little punk. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. I'm the nigga that you love to hate. Trespass, I retaliate. You should've read the warning on the gate. Go to church on the first Sunday, just to steal out the collection plate. I been smoking Sunset Sherbet. How you learn to watch me levitate? Steady mobbing with my day ones. Break the west side of America. Most wanted, I'm the predator. Y'all better pray, I'm telling you. Laugh now, cry later. Damn, I can't stand a hater. Nah, I take that back. In fact, y'all on the team still as fuck you, no Vaseline. No homo, Jakey promo. That's the reason I don't fuck with y'all. This shit might end in a fist fight. It's a long shot, I catch a L tonight. The next cut, I'm the next up. Like the gamble, put your bets up. I see you through you like a glass shield. You don't really want to bet, bro. Once upon a time in the projects, pushing weight was the object. It's too many niggas telling now. I seen it all, I'm a ghetto vet. Today was a good day. I feel like Ice Cube. No, my name ain't O'Shea still. I'm a nigga with an attitude, but this money got me in a better mood. Smoking strong, yeah, that medical. It's Friday, I'ma get you high today. You ain't got no job anyway. That's the word I heard in the barbershop. Got fired trying to steal a box. Boys in the hood being bullied, better hit the boat with a center block. Ride along with me, it's 10 o'clock. Don't be asking me, yo, are we there yet? Walking lottery ticket. We about to hit the Players Club for some triple X. I'ma start jacking for beats, like I did on my mixtapes. Some of that shit don't be sounding good. You know how we do it if you feel some way. I got the hookup. I got the key to the book of life. You just gotta stay up and smoke. That other shit just ain't right. They talk about you in the beauty shop and the barbershop too. Ooh, they ask why we thugs. Shit, I thought you knew. The hood raised natural born killers. They die hard, nigga Bruce Willis. Fuck the police, come to Dub C. Yeah, that's West Selling Casey. Being trapping ex Tracy. The Nog night goes like Mars. Heard I was jumping in and out of cars, breaking all kind of laws. Block jumping like a frog. Until we rich, I ain't letting up. Really though, nigga, real though. Boy, guess what?
I Mix Nation for real.
Tekashi get killed is behind some shit he probably did. I ain't even tripping. I ain't even really much tripping. Well, they tried to block us. They can't block us. What you talking about? They was blocking though for a minute though. I knew Mama was gonna like that shit. I was like, hey, what should have done? First, she told me, oh, yeah, I don't taste like it. Taste it. When you had me first taste it, I was like, yeah, I was like, well, you probably cook a little bit more. That mug got to cooking a little bit more? Shit! Shit was right on point. See, Mama got to fucking that shit up. Mama told me, let me get a spoon. Mama said, yeah, I already shared it to the group. See, I created a group. The only thing I didn't do for my fan page was create a group that's linked to it. You know what I'm saying? It's called Southern RPG Group. You know what I'm saying? And I can actually stream directly to that group if I want to. You know what I'm saying?
Safe area detected.
When I get on probation on my main page, detected. You know, I can kind of stream where I want. You know what I'm saying? Yo, what up, no? What up, y'all? I probably should make my cam bigger so y'all can see a motherfucker, right? I'm down in the bottom side of the screen and whatnot. Cool. We about to get ready to get started, man. This is my second character. I'm on level 21 with this one right here. We got a little insight on where I'm at right now. I'm on the left side of the map. Yeah, dude. See, I can share it in groups I own, but then like they ain't sent me shit like I couldn't share shit. They trying to say I can't share shit. Talking about this is talking about you ain't able to do this. And I was like, this is a mistake, bitch, because you ain't send me shit about that. And that's it was on my other page. You know what I'm saying? They did it on my other page. But not on this page. If anything, all they did was pretty much keep me from going live on the main page, if anything. Yeah. What up, y'all? I'm gonna get ready to get into some work, man. Shit. Of course, you already see the graphics, man. Southern RPG. We got our official link in the description. Facebook decided to block us because we were streaming some unnecessary content over the weekend, so they put the Timmy on our ass. So they got us on probation for 7 days on our main page, which is Southern RPG. Like I said, it's pinned to not pinned to so in the description. So, but daily streamer, do stream daily. Stream a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Your mama here, we might stream a cat. This and that. Shit. From time to time on the stream, we also play music. When I have a lot of downtime, or when I'm kind of just wanting to take like a breather. Music too. So if there's any artists trying to get their voice heard and music heard, and maybe do out like intermission or something like that, man, hit me up, man. Make sure y'all visit the page that's in the description. Do not hit me up on my personal page because I will not respond. Matter of fact, yeah, I can't respond. I ain't got a message. They're gonna hit me on my main page. Go to the link. Go to the description. Hit that link. Go to Southern RPG. Hit me up over there.
Agent requesting backup.
If you haven't received advance clearance, you will be declined entry.
So once I get this thing twist up real fast, we're gonna go and get into some action. Camera. Action. Break it down now. But yeah, my wife fucked around and make some banging ass beef stew. So I called my mom. I'm like, Mama, listen. Nigga, you got to taste this shit. Oh God. Mom said, okay, I'll be over there in a little bit. Alright, boom. She come over here, Mom's fucked some of that shit up before she even left, cuz. Oh God. And she got something going with. We cook so much. You know what I'm saying? We cook that shit lasts. You know what I'm saying? Cook something that lasts you in the game. Shout out to Mixer, YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, man. We fuck with all platforms. Excuse my French if you do not curse. But let you know right now, parental advisory. So if your parents catch you watching these, I ain't got nothing to do with that. On different platforms, you got to be able to hit parental advisory. You got to be old enough to watch my content. That's on certain platforms. I think Facebook, anybody can watch my content. But I don't think too many parents trying to figure out if their child watching somebody who talking shit or not talking shit or whatever. So I'm trying to get right. All right, so I was trying to get my mic like right here. You know what I mean? Let me get it readjusted real quick and
all
stream
outdoor
that.
recreational activities will be suspended until further notice. We apologize for the inconvenience.
Get my mic adjusted in Streamlabs real quick. We are bringing this content to you, brought to you by Streamlabs OBS. There it is. So yeah, again, my name's Merc. Our page Southern RPG. That be me. Why am I not hearing any audio in my headset from the game? That's why, right there. There we go. All right. What the fuck is that barbershop? Ah, there it is. Again, this is my second character. I got another character already. There's a lot of new changes coming to the game at the beginning of October.
Henry's worried about
So
outcast
just
activity
really
at that
more or less
abandoned disease
grinding
control
it out,
apartment facility.
trying to
Patching him in now. You there, Henry? Yeah.
just trying to
Keeping an eye on the old
grind and
disease.
get him to 30.
People leave there infected with green
And once we
poison.
get him to
They start
30, I
heading
already
towards the
have
campus.
something I want to
Getting
put
reports that they're headed to other
on
civilian
him.
centers. We need to shut this
I
site
want to
down.
do an assault rifle, rifle build, which that's what I'm currently running. Assault rifle build, military G36, police MK17. If it doesn't have anything to do with either or armor or health, I don't use it. So we probably grinded for a little bit with somebody else, but then for the most part, I've grinded to level 21 by myself. What the fuck is that, yo? That shit sound a little weird. I thought firecrackers was going off in my ear. No, you gotta remember the mic on. So I'm seeing. You gotta stop blocking on that bed. You already be mad when man be kicking your butt. You gonna kick your butt some more? Keep on. Huh? Nigga, you got to punch yourself in the lower part of your stomach then. That's just something you got to take with God, man. This ain't gonna be good hell. That's because he his daddy child. That's only because he his daddy child. That's the only reason. Today was a good day. What that? Did you put some what's the name on it? Did you put what's alcohol on it first? Well, what did you put on there that had it like looking like A&D? It filtered it to see if it's dry. If it's like drying up for a little bit more. I thought you had put too much on there for begin with. You walk around here looking like a oiled up baby. I figured it was a combination of the both. Look at the date. Everything got a date on it, boo boo. Where it is? Just tell me where it is. What bag? Come on, man. Come on. Wait, is that 2-bit? No, that's not 2 bags per bag. Wait, it's somewhere in the bag? All that stuff is in that bag. Okay, listen. Okay. I was about to say, because I was going to bring you the bag. I ain't going to cap. I was going to bring you the bag, because I remember when you was like the bag in the bathroom, I was like, nigga. When I put that bag, when I looked at that bag and that black bag that's right there by the trash can, I was like, okay, well, one go in the bathroom and one go in the kitchen because I can't get it in. But this motherfucker that go in the bathroom, this bitch heavy. God damn, son. Real. So I let that. That's the one I think no, the one I took to prop the door open was the other one, the one with the canned goods.
To shut it down.
That's because it was so hot earlier. Like every time, like if you go walk in that room right now, babe. You go walk in that bitch right now. You'll feel like you walked outside. Yeah.
Active terminal detected.
See if you can hook Isaac into that terminal and get us some intel.
What is that playing? Is that copyrighted music? I asked you for the copyrighted music. I don't really care at this point. I think the NFL done fucked me more than anybody else can.
Connection established. DCD data stream enabled.
Alright, let's see what we've got. There's an active lab on the north side close to you. Your first priority should be to shut that down. Looks like the best way to take the lab offline is the decontamination protocol.
That's just a fancy way of saying everything is sterilized.
Isaac's not detecting the gas needed for the decon process. They must have disabled the line.
Hit the main fuel line in the basement. That should get it flowing again.
Open the fuel line. That should give the decon protocol enough gas to run.
They're in the basement! Emily's gonna be pissed.
The decontamination protocol can be initiated from a panel in the lab above you. Stay put once you pull the trigger and you should be safe. Top floor, you can't miss it. It's right in the middle of the lab.
I'm wondering what the hell going on. I don't have my damn monitor screen up. I need to pull the stream up. Hold on.
Virus samples detected.
They're in the building! Get them!
I guess you could call that.
What? Okay, well that's a good thing. Jesus Christ, you a second guess people who make shit, and I don't know, man. I know, because you only you a second guess somebody who made something and don't have an expert. I mean, it's almost that what it sounded like, baby. I'm sorry.
You'll be able to access the morgue at the far end of the West Wing construction site. If they haven't been disposing of the corpses properly, we could have another outbreak on our hands.
Look, boy, Alpha Gaming playing goddamn FIFA and shit. Probably should goddamn jump on that FIFA and shit, but I ain't gonna do it. I ain't even gonna do it for the Vine.
Spread out and search for them. They could be anywhere.
Blood from an asymptomatic carrier. Someone who's infected but doesn't show symptoms. If I'm right, they're weaponizing green poison and turning it loose on the city. Destroy anything that might be contaminated.
What the fuck is the rope? About time. The rope rather than even want to come down and shit. Baby, why you ain't turning the TV on? Where the hell they at? TV big.
Carrier, they've got an endless supply of the virus to play with.
Agent, your route out is going to take you into the DCD research library.
Hey, while you're in there, do me a favor. Recover everything you can on broad-spectrum antivirals.
many motherfuckers you had to combine with that motherfucker?
Gone! Yeah, you like that, agent?
The data analysis lab is just ahead. See what data you can grab for Kelso.
Data transfer initiated. Data transfer completed.
Motherfucker gonna jump his bitch ass all the way downstairs.
Agent in need of backup.
I think I've only seen one episode of this other show, Anger Management. I could only see one. I didn't care for it.
motherfucker goddamn fool. I think, you know, even though Aston Kutcher are funny, you know, and all that shit like that, you know what I mean?
I don't think the outcasts are going to be able to do much else from here.
Thanks for getting me that data to play with.
They might have was able to do it, pull it off for the people who made the show.
Portable device detected.
Yeah.
Here they come. Be careful.
No.
Great job in there. We've been analyzing the data, and it looks like it's going to make Kelso very happy, even if it's going to take her a while to go through it.
Hopefully with the lab out of commission, the outcasts won't be able to send any more of their people to try and infect the settlement. Thanks, Agent. I'm real grateful.
Agent, you're ready for another skill, I reckon. Come back to the base and we'll set you up.
He talking about too much to eat, not enough bourbon. Fucking drunk.
Civilians in danger. Friendly combatants detected.
Why is it that you don't hear about drunk people actually doing that? That's some shit high people do.
Civilians in distress. Friendly combatants nearby. Portable
You know,
electronic
I'm only gonna
device
say
detected.
this because he said that.
You know what still ass is like.
Right, like
Hostile control point
you gotta know.
identified.
In order for you to be like, oh, that tastes like stale ass, you gotta know what stale ass tastes like. I mean, come on, like. Whenever I end up see him in the bed with somebody.
thought that was safe. Come out and face me, punk!
Agent requesting backup.
That's a false.
Immediate medical assistance needed. Agent deceased.
Who? For a day? What the fuck did that do? For a whole day. I've been to the barber though. Fuck wrong with them? Anything crazy happened on wrestling last night?
Braun Strowman and Seth lost a tag team titles at what you call it?
Yeah, I saw that because when they showed Seth before, I guess whatever, he got jumped on last night or whatever. He ain't had both belts. He talking about, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't like throwing up. I know Charlie done threw up a lot in his days though. Charlie a drinker too? Yeah, it just sneak up on you. It definitely sneak up on you. Damn, Charlie. Let's cut the man some slack, Charlie. Man, what the fuck? Bro, that shit ain't retarded. What shit? I had to switch spots, man. But that damn AC went out of shit today. Goddamn. I think it might be my damn cord. I think I might have another one somewhere. Another USB.